He is an 11-time All-Star and 2-time NBA champion, Olympic gold medalist, and now to that stellar resume, you can add Basketball Hall of Fame inductee for the 2021 class. He's also an author. Letters to a Young Athlete is available today wherever books are sold. He is Chris Bosh. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing better for talking to you. Congrats on your book.
Thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate that. We're very excited about it.
So, Letters to a Young Athlete, this is about what? Are you writing letters to yourself? Is that what this book is about, Chris? What do you got for me here?
That's fascinating. A lot of people ask that about the letters to younger self, my younger self in particular. I'm speaking, not only to young athletes, but to anyone trying, to aspire to do something great. I know how I feel, how lucky I am, how grateful I am to have the career that I had. And, even though it came to an abrupt end, I still appreciated it, and I still learned so many lessons from it. So, in that success, I wanted to find those things that other people could really, really find helpful and find that would be beneficial to their life. And, they could take it and use it for themselves.
What is that? What are you finding? What did you find that you think you needed to impart to the youth of today as they try to become you, to be honest?
Well, I mean, the different obstacles that they will face, the fact that they will face obstacles, the fact that you have to think deeply about what you want to do. I talk about that in a chapter called Finding Your Why. It's just like a lot of lessons I feel that really, really helped me out. And those are the things that I wish I would have known coming up during my time. So, if they can take something from my story, and to be frank, most of the lessons, the best lessons I learned were from other people's mistakes or lessons, and I really wanted to bring something like that to where younger athletes or old athletes or really anyone, could really take heat from.
So what interesting, use heat. I like that. So what did you learn? Whose mistake gave you the biggest, epiphany in your career, Chris Bosh?
I don't know if I would chalk it up to a mistake. I would say I had a conversation with multiple guys when I was in Toronto, just trying to figure out what it is. I had a very tough decision to make, and I didn't know what to do. And Bill Walton was one of the guys that I spoke to. Just, I asked him, like, what is it all about? What is this, the NBA experience? What should I go for? What should I be thinking about? He said, you want to play on the big stage. And that's all he told me. But, I pretty much knew that he meant going for a championship. And you've got to do it now. So I'm glad that I was able to really take that advice and listen to it. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's from another person's mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So that was more so, I guess, in life, not so much in basketball.
and you definitely shorthanded what Bill Walton told you. He didn't say it just to you in one succinct sentence, I imagine, Chris. I mean, he probably went on and on and on about it, but eventually you boiled it down.
Bill, he can go. He can go. Yeah.
I mean,
a cup of tea.
Of all the people to ask about life, he's definitely one to do that. I've got Chris
he'll
Bosh.
Give you some perspective.
Yes, Chris Bosh here on the Rich Eisen Show. Pat Riley wrote the foreword of your book. What did he tell you when you were knocking on doors, or he knocked on yours, and that's how you wound up with the Heat, eventually creating a super team with LeBron and Dwayne Wade that we see have been replicated many times since then?
Yeah.
What about that?
Pat, pretty much what Pat did, he understood that you need great teams to win. Now they call them super teams.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, you could argue that there has always been a super team to win an NBA championship. Very seldomly that they're not, just at that point in time, he dumped a bunch of, when we were in the meeting, he rolled up his sleeves, took his jacket off, rolled up his sleeves, and just dumped a bunch of 2006 championship rings on the table. And then, he has me pick one up, and then he goes into his thing, and he's an eloquent, dynamic speaker.
Yes.
And afterwards, he told me to keep one of the rings and give it back to him after I win my first one. And that's a hell of a pitch right there.
Yes, it is. So did you keep the ring? Did you actually do it? Did you actually walk out with it?
Yeah, I kept it. I actually still have it. I haven't given it back to him. I don't even know if I've told him yet that I still have it, but I gotta let him know. Like, yo, you wanna, I still have it.
So yeah, he didn't give you a receipt or anything like that. I mean, he just let you walk.
He said you keep it. I hadn't committed to signing or anything.
Wow.
But Pat is just Pat Riley. And that was very Riley-esque, and I mean, it put things into perspective for me, and it was the chance of a lifetime to go after winning a championship, or at least try. And that was the decision I made.
I'm so fascinated by this. So, one last follow-up. How many rings did he spill out? Like out of a box? Like literally spill it out on the table, and it just made noises on the table, and you picked one out? Literally?
Yeah, it was like a little bag. You're it's the only analogy I could think of, but you've seen a Crown Royal bag, right?
Yeah, of course.
Not
sure.
to say it wasn't a Crown Royal bag, but that's
right. Nice felt bag, sure.
Yeah,
right.
And it was like a black felt bag, and yeah, he dumped them out. I don't remember how many there were, but there were a few, and you just say, yeah, take that one.
Chris Bosh here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, Chris, you're seeing LeBron now do it at such, I guess, what we say years later. I don't even want to call it an advanced age because age is a number. But it does look like, again, that at this point in time, Anthony Davis is hurt. And the Lakers have an interesting challenge now in front of them tonight against Chris Paul, which is fascinating. You know that they have a relationship outside of the court as well. What are your thoughts on LeBron continuing to do it right now and his chance to maybe put this team on his back and continue on as a 7 seed? What are your thoughts on that,
it's
Chris?
insane. Just the fact that he's able, it's really, all that work that he put into his body throughout his whole career, all the training that you do are for moments like this, and especially early on in your career, it's in hopes that you can perform at a high level consistently at the age that he's at. But, I think he's the type of athlete that's trying to break new ground, and, that's what he's doing. And, even Michael Jordan, he consistently played at a high level until 36 and then came back and played at 40, so it's out there. And Bron being the fitness freak that he is, I know that's definitely a challenge. And he's out to be one of, if not the best player of all time. And that's his goal. And I know, I know how much he puts into the game and how hard he works. So I think as long as he, this year was a pretty serious injury that he'll have to take care of. And he will have to expend a lot of energy tonight in that particular game. And it will be difficult, but like I say, breaking new ground is not easy. And of course, that's how the basketball guys put it. You like, oh, okay, yeah, you're man in the best shape of your life at 37 years old. Okay, your number 2 is out and Caldwell Pope is out. And all right, you still got to win. Put the team on your back again. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how you respond.
So, you could sit there, you could make a case, Chris, because you had a front row seat for this, and I did too, sitting on SportsCenter doing highlights of his high school game, and so that's how far back he goes, and I haven't been at ESPN in 18 years, and he is maybe the first superstar athlete in the NBA to have his entire career take place in the 24/7, 365 sports cable television world and sports talk world and social media world where everything is out there. So is there one thing about LeBron that we don't know that you would be able to fill us in on at all, Chris?
If in my book, I talk about how much he put into the game and how hard he works. He makes things look easy, and he's not the one to boast and brag. how much he works on the game and how much he puts into the game. So like, it's always really funny to of course you get criticized, right? It's a part of the game. But just hear the critical narratives on what he can and can't do and all of these things, which, it's interesting when they're like, oh, he's aging. And I think one year it was like, oh, is he washed? And
yes,
I just wanted to give more perspective on how much he put into his body over his career and how focused and dedicated, he is to the craft. He's a very smart individual, he's highly intelligent, but most of all, he loves what he does. And, he's one of the best teammates that I've had. He loves basketball, loves having a good time. He loves getting the fellas together and going after a goal.
What's your best guess on how much longer he wants to do it? The concept in the media whenever we get to that point is that he might want to stick around for his son to be drafted in the NBA and kind of play with him, kind of like the Griffeys did, if you will, in baseball. Do you think that's the way he's viewing his end game basketball scenario, Chris?
That's a great question. I'm not sure, but knowing Brian, he'll have something up his sleeve. You know what I mean? Who knows? I know he probably still wants to play at the level he's playing at, for another year, if not two. I know that for sure. But, as Bronny continues to develop, I know they'll keep their eye on that situation. I know he'll continue to keep his options open. But, as an athlete, I know how, it is. I mean, if he gets to where it's like, I've done everything, and that's before his son starts playing, and he has nothing else to give to the game, he might wake up and feel that one day. We never know if he's blessed to be able to get to that point. But, I think we'll have to wait and see, man. That would be pretty cool, like the Griffeys, just on the same team and, get back-to-back buckets, like cool stuff like that. It'd be crazy.
Chris Bosh, a few more minutes left with the Hall of Fame inductee and the author. Letters to a Young Athlete is available today where all books are sold. Not to turn you into the paparazzi, but I'll do it anyway. The conversation today is Kyrie stomping on a logo. And I think it's and that was out of bounds, if you will. And, I don't want to get anywhere remotely close to the false equivalency of a bottle being thrown at him and that one thing leads to another. I think those are two separate issues. But what do you think about him stomping on a logo? Is that disrespectful? Is that something that does merit anger towards Kyrie Irving, Chris?
Well, I mean, look, we've played plenty of games. We've had rivalries. I mean, I've played in plenty of rivalries. I've played at the TD Garden. Usually when you win that game, you want to get out of there. to be frank with you. I mean, look, you don't want ever, as an athlete, you don't want things to be misinterpreted. If whether it was misinterpreted or not, if he goes and stomps on a thing, and that will evoke a reaction, and people will, react a certain way. And, that's why I always encourage guys, after the game is over, shake hands and get on out of there. That way, nothing else, no any extracurricular things can happen. And, I mean, you know how it is, man. I mean, you win a game and you've done your job, and that was the best thing probably for everybody to do. It's unfortunate everything that's happened, with the whole bottle throwing and, things getting out of pocket. But, criticism and unruly fans, sometimes that's a part of the game. We just have to be able to take it and move on and hopefully not put ourselves in a situation where, people are kind of asking questions like, well, what does that mean? Because the narrative will continue to go.
So what advice would you give Kyrie and also Harden and Durant? Durant's been down this road before with the Warriors.
Yeah.
But the pressure that comes with having the concept of a super team stamped on you as you go about your business. I mean, I'm kind of going through it from the other angle. Everybody's saying, well, you know what, we can't stand this team because they're kind of rigging the system to put all these stars together. And you've lived it. So what advice would you give these three gents as they go about their business tonight and beyond with everybody expecting them to win it all? What do you got from me?
I mean, play ball. And, we play this game to have fun. With the Heat, that's what we eventually had to get to. And, of course, it's a different market and a different time. And, the power, the amount of talent in the time that they put it in, of course, it's like it's a quick flame, very combustible, right? And with that, a lot of people start giving their opinions, and you're on the mountaintop before you've even done anything, and it's just something you have to deal with. I would have those guys get back to enjoying. If they're not enjoying it, get back to enjoying, because you want to have fun. I think just in sports overall, it just seems like it seems a little tense right now, which everybody has kind of has some pent up aggression because of the times we're trying to rebound from. But, let's get back to having fun. Let's appreciate everything. Let's not be disrespectful. Fans, hey, if you're coming to the game, cheer for your team. You could boo the other team, but let's keep it, let's keep it cool and have a good time and get back to doing what the sport is intended to do, which is bring people together to have a good time and to root for their teams.
So before I let you go, Chris Bosh, if I had written a letter to that National Honor Society student at, let me get this right, Lincoln High School in Dallas, saying you're going to be a Hall of Famer one day, if I'd written that note and passed it to you in class or something like that, what would young Chris Bosh have said if that note said you're going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame as an 11-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, Olympic gold medalist? What would you have done with that letter, Chris?
I would have kept it. I couldn't say that I would have framed it, but I would have kept it, and I probably would have went right to the gym, because if someone believes in me, whether they're prophesying something or not, if I know this is my future, and I wanted to make it come true, I need to get better. And I know for sure that I will be right back there in the gym, getting more shots up, trying to figure more about the game.
And then, obviously go about your business in the classroom as well, because you never know when it's going to get taken away from you. And I know that's part of your book too, right? Is you learning in a doctor's office that it's all over as well. Oh, yeah.
Have those other interests, know other things that you like. Just don't be, one-dimensional, that, you don't have that thing you go after, but, there's greatness in hobbies. And it's good to have other interests, because you might have to use them in more ways than you know.
So are you going to have Riley, when you're up there, roll just championship rings out during your speech or something like that, Chris? Let's get some flair to your speech here.
That'll be some nice flair right there, man.
Are you starting to work on it? Are you starting that already?
Oh, yeah. I'm in the lab. Yeah, I have some guys I write speeches with, and yeah, we've got a stack full of papers, man, and we're listening to speeches. We're very excited about it. We're going to make it happen.
How about this, Chris? Because I always like leaving my guests in a better spot in which I found them, despite how terrific they are in a spot like you. How about you tell the story you told me earlier about Pat recruiting you, telling you to pick out a ring from 2006 and swap it out, and you never gave it back. How about you give it back to him during your speech? How about that?
Oh, that'll be a good one. There you go, man. Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Take it out of your pocket and say, here it is, Pat. Give it back.
That's a good one. I like that, man. I like that.
How about that? And you don't have to, no credit. Just take it, Chris. There's an I in Rich and Eisen, but I'm a team player. Don't worry.
Hey, man, right on. Hey, I appreciate that pass, man. I might use that. That's a good one.
Give it back to him during your speech, saying thanks for the ring, Pat. Appreciate it, and the other ones too. There you go.
Epic.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Chris. Let's look for my call more often. I'd love to just catch up with you and get your thoughts on what's going on in the NBA and more. And also, congrats on the book.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, man.
You bet it. Letters to a Young Athlete, available today wherever books are sold. Chris Bosh, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.